Imagine a world where the surface itself is forbidden, where the land above can no longer sustain us, forcing humanity to find a future deep beneath the ground. This is the world of Silo, a world that confronts us with profound questions of survival, resilience, and adaptation. It's a vision of humanity at its limits, confined by walls, surrounded by rock, where every breath and every resource is rationed, recycled, and meticulously controlled. But here's the question: is Silo just a story, or is it a glimpse into our own future? If the world above ever turned against us, would we find a way to endure? Would we create a life, not under open skies, but buried within the earth? Silo challenges us to confront these questions, to wonder how we too might adapt if the surface became uninhabitable. And more than that, it asks us to consider the human cost of confinement, of isolation, and of a life lived in the shadows. Throughout history, humanity has faced these moments of survival, pushing boundaries and adapting in ways once thought unimaginable. We've sought refuge in mountains, deserts, and even beneath the waves, each time crafting new forms of resilience. But could we go deeper, leaving the world we know for the darkness below? What would we sacrifice to survive? And in that silent, hidden world, would we truly live or simply exist? If humanity were ever forced underground, it would be a journey unlike any we've taken before. Our world would shrink to the walls around us, every day spent under the hum of machines, every hour counting down not in sunlight but in carefully measured breaths. In a sense, Silo asks us to envision a future built on both technology and trust. Trust in systems, trust in each other, and trust in our own capacity to adapt to the unknown. As we explore the reality of Silo, we'll uncover a history of underground survival that has already unfolded here on Earth. We'll see how ancient civilizations, modern survivalists, and future space missions all tap into the same resilience that Silo portrays. Each one offers a clue, a lesson in what it means to survive, adapt, and find meaning in a world hidden from the light. And so, we embark on this journey, not just through Silo, but through our own potential. Across the span of history, humanity has often been forced underground, not out of choice, but out of necessity. These were not just temporary shelters, they were entire worlds, built to sustain life, carved into the heart of the earth. And each underground civilization tells us something about resilience, adaptation, and what it means to endure. Imagine Cappadocia, Turkey, in the 7th century. From the outside it appears as a rugged, rocky landscape, but beneath the surface lies a hidden marvel. Derinkuyu, an underground city crafted to protect its people from invading forces. This was no ordinary refuge. It stretched across 18 levels, with complex ventilation shafts, hidden passages, and secure water wells that provided fresh, life-sustaining water to those living far below. This wasn't merely a place to hide. It was a self-contained world, where entire communities lived, worshipped, and worked in darkness. These people knew that survival meant more than simply enduring. It meant building a society, a place where life could continue even under the weight of stone and silence. Fast forward 1,000 years and half a world away to the scorching Australian outback. In Coober Pedy, temperatures soar to extremes, making surface life brutal. Here the people don't battle enemies, but the elements themselves. And so they went underground, creating homes, churches, and stores sheltered from the relentless sun. The ground became their sanctuary, a natural insulation against the brutal heat. Life here thrives not in spite of the earth, but because of it, with residents using every layer of rock to shield themselves. Much like Silo, the community of Coober Pedy lives not by choice, but by adaptation. In their world, survival is embedded in the stone around them, where life itself is forged from the land's extremes. And even in today's modern cities, life underground isn't confined to ancient history or remote deserts. Beneath the sprawling metropolis of Beijing lies a different kind of underground world. Here, in Cold War-era bunkers, thousands of people, nicknamed the Rat Tribe, live in cramped, windowless rooms. Some seek opportunity in the city above, while others simply need affordable housing. For them, life below ground is a compromise, a reality where space and opportunity are scarce. But even here in the shadows, they find a way to make life work, forming a hidden society beneath the modern world. Their world may be removed from the daylight, but it remains vibrant, full of purpose. Each of these underground societies, ancient and modern, reflects humanity's ability to adapt. From the people of Cappadocia to the residents of Beijing, they show us that underground life is possible, but it comes with its own unique demands and sacrifices. These communities learn to thrive in the face of isolation, to find comfort without sunlight, and to make a home where others might see only stone and darkness. And yet, while their lives were rooted in necessity, they weren't meant to last forever. But what if they were? What if, like the people in Silo, we were asked to stay underground indefinitely? Could we build not only a refuge, but a society, a world beneath the surface? Would we adapt, as these people did, or would confinement change us, slowly eroding our sense of freedom, of connection, of life as we know it? As we continue, we'll explore not only how such a society might survive, but how it would sustain the very things that make life worth living. Because to survive in Silo isn't just about resources, it's about the soul, the psyche, and the delicate balance of human resilience. Life underground requires a delicate balance, a world where every breath, every drop of water, every meal must be carefully managed. Above ground, resources feel limitless, but underground, the stakes are different. Here, everything must be controlled and sustained by the systems we create. And in Silo, this dependence is absolute. There's no room for error, no second chances. Each element is essential, a lifeline woven into the very structure of their survival. Let's start with air. Imagine breathing in a world where the natural flow of fresh air doesn't exist. In Cappadocia's underground cities, ancient engineers carved vertical shafts deep into the rock, allowing precious fresh air to circulate through the labyrinth. But for a closed, isolated society like Silo, far more sophisticated systems would be necessary. Imagine HEPA, filters that purify impurities, CO2 scrubbers that remove the carbon dioxide we exhale, and bioregenerative systems that transform this air back into something life-giving. It's a continuous cycle, one that must run flawlessly. On the International Space Station, astronauts depend on similar closed-loop systems, breathing the same recycled air for months. In Silo, survival would hinge on this precision. One flaw in these systems could turn each breath into a risk. And then there's water, a resource we so often take for granted above ground. In Silo, water would need to be reclaimed and recycled through a closed-loop system. Every molecule would count, every droplet would return to the cycle. Much like the International Space Station, Silo would rely on advanced filtration systems capable of capturing moisture from sweat, breath, and waste, purifying it until it's safe to drink again. For those underground, water recycling isn't just a convenience, it's a necessity, a way to stretch every resource to its fullest. Imagine a world where each sip is carefully rationed, each use accounted for, where nothing is wasted. But even with air to breathe and water to drink, there remains the question of food. In a place where sunlight and open fields don't exist, growing food becomes an act of innovation. Traditional farming wouldn't survive in a world like Silo. Instead, underground life would depend on vertical farming, hydroponic systems, and even algae bioreactors. Picture rows of greens growing in nutrient-rich water, or tanks of algae producing high-density protein, compact, efficient, and nourishing. This isn't just a hypothetical. These systems are already being tested and used in urban farms around the world. For the people of Silo, each leaf of lettuce, each ounce of algae would represent more than sustenance. In the absence of natural cycles, food becomes the very essence of life itself, sustained by the invisible machines working tirelessly behind the scenes. In an underground world, survival is a balance between precision and permanence. Each system, air, water, food, must work in flawless harmony, each relying on the others to function. The people in Silo depend on this balance with no margin for error. One failure in the delicate chain, a water filter that clogs, a carbon scrubber that fails, could disrupt everything. Above, life is held in nature's balance. Below, survival is a product of engineering and trust, a life built on invisible threads of technology, where every piece must hold, every system must endure. And yet, even as these systems sustain the body, the mind faces its own challenges. Because to live underground is not just a test of resources, it's a test of spirit, resilience, and the endurance of the human psyche. Living underground isn't just a physical challenge, it's a test of human spirit and resilience. Imagine a life where the sky is a distant memory, where daylight is replaced by artificial light, and every day unfolds under the weight of confinement. In Silo, it's not just the walls or the limited space that define life, it's the isolation, the knowledge that the outside world is lost, leaving only the rhythms and routines of an enclosed society. How would we adapt to this reality? What would happen to our minds, our relationships, our very sense of self? Consider the experiences of those living in the most extreme environments on Earth. Researchers stationed in Antarctica, for instance, live in isolation for months on end, surrounded by an endless expanse of ice and silence. To survive this confinement, they rely on routines and small, deliberate measures to maintain their mental health. Light therapy becomes crucial here, with full-spectrum LEDs simulating natural sunlight to help regulate the body's natural rhythms. Without natural light, our sleep patterns become disrupted, moods fluctuate, and even immune function weakens. For the people of Silo, maintaining this balance would be essential. Artificial light isn't just illumination, it's a lifeline, a way to bring the sun into a place where the real sun is unreachable. But even more powerful than light is the presence of other people. Humans are inherently social, wired to connect and interact. In a confined space, isolation can eat away at the mind, breeding loneliness, fear, and sometimes even despair. In Silo, social structures serve as anchors, forming a sense of purpose and belonging in a world that lacks freedom. Real-world studies in confinement, whether in Antarctic stations, space simulations, or even prisons, tell us that strong social bonds are crucial for mental resilience. Shared activities, group responsibilities, and even virtual outdoor simulations provide moments of comfort, of escape, a brief reminder of the world beyond the walls. In these moments, community becomes more than a social structure, it becomes a tool for survival. Yet, confinement also brings tension. Small disagreements can become magnified, each conflict echoing louder in the silence. With no escape, every irritation, every difference can build up, straining the fragile bonds between people. In an underground world, cooperation isn't just helpful, it's vital. The people of Silo don't just depend on technology, they depend on each other, on shared responsibilities and mutual understanding. In the absence of sunlight and open spaces, the community becomes both a support and a challenge, a delicate balance of unity and individuality. In this enclosed world, emotions are amplified. Each fear, each joy, each connection takes on new meaning in a place where resources are limited and freedom is a memory. Surviving in Silo isn't just about physical resources, it's about the human spirit's ability to find strength in isolation, to create meaning in confinement, and to find resilience not only in the systems around us, but within each other. Because in the end, life underground is as much a test of the mind as it is of the body. It's a question of endurance, not just of survival. And as we turn to the challenges of building a life underground, we realize that our strength, our adaptability, and our humanity may be our greatest assets in the dark. Now imagine building a world like Silo, not beneath Earth's familiar ground, but on Mars, a place as alien as it is unforgiving. For future explorers, living underground on Mars wouldn't just be a possibility, it would be a necessity. Mars, with its thin atmosphere, harsh radiation, and barren landscapes, presents challenges that make life on Earth seem simple. But beneath the surface, hidden from the cosmic rays and Martian dust storms, there might be a sanctuary waiting for us. Radiation is the first and perhaps greatest challenge of Martian life. Without Earth's protective magnetic field, Mars's surface is exposed to intense solar and cosmic rays. But beneath the ground, shielded by layers of Martian rock and soil, we could create a safe haven, a place where human life might finally flourish. Scientists are already exploring how to build habitats using Mars's own resources. By transforming Martian regolith into sturdy radiation-shielding walls, we could create protective barriers, turning the harshness of Mars into our ally. Then there's the question of resource. On Mars, every drop of water, every breath of air, every ounce of food would have to be created, recycled, and sustained without relying on supplies from Earth. This is where in situ resource utilization, or SRU, comes into play. Imagine melting the Martian ice for drinking water, splitting its molecules to produce oxygen, using the soil's minerals to create building materials. With ISRU, Mars itself becomes a provider, a host for human life. The red soil isn't just something to walk on, it's something to build with, to drink from, to breathe. With each resource crafted from the planet's own elements, Mars transforms from a hostile environment into a self-sustaining home. And perhaps Mars offers another hidden possibility. Beneath its surface, scientists have found evidence of ancient lava tubes, caves formed by volcanic activity billions of years ago. These hollowed spaces could serve as natural shelters, stable and shielded from the surface's harsh conditions. Imagine a network of underground Martian caves, each one a potential habitat, each one a step closer to a life below the Martian crust. Future explorers wouldn't just be creating homes on Mars, they'd be uncovering them, using the planet's natural structures to create a new world within the rock and dust. Creating a silo on Mars wouldn't just be about survival. It would be a testament to human resilience, adaptability, and the spirit of exploration. Could we truly thrive on a planet so far from the comforts of Earth? Could we turn Mars's unforgiving soil into a sanctuary? Perhaps one day these underground shelters will echo with life, turning fiction into reality, creating a future where humans live, work, and explore beneath the surface of a world we once thought unreachable. Because in the end, building a silo on Mars wouldn't just mean survival. It would mean mastering the unknown, embracing the challenges of a new frontier, and proving once again that humanity's reach knows no limits, not even the stars. So, could Silo be more than a haunting story, and could it be a glimpse of what lies ahead? As the world's resources become strained and technology advances faster than ever, the idea of life underground or on a planet like Mars feels less like fiction and more like a possibility we may one day confront. In this journey through Silo, we've explored not just the technology that might sustain us, but the endurance, resilience, and adaptability that lie at the heart of human survival. From the ancient underground cities of Cappadocia to the resourceful communities of Kuba Pidi, history has shown us that humans are capable of thriving in spaces others might find impossible. These hidden worlds reveal a profound truth: humanity's capacity to adapt, to create life in the shadows, to find meaning even in confinement. But life in Silo or any underground society would require more than just technological ingenuity. It would demand resilience, a willingness to redefine what it means to live, to connect, to belong. Underground or on another planet, we would face questions that cut to the core of human existence. Could we thrive in a place with no sky, no horizons? Would we find meaning, purpose, and community in a world where freedom as we know it no longer exists? Perhaps one day, Silo will be seen as more than just a tale of survival. It may stand as a testament to the strength we've always carried, the endurance that has pushed humanity from caves to skyscrapers, from seas to stars. In every corner of the Earth, we've found ways to endure, to reshape the world around us, to create light where there was none. And if we're ever called to live underground or in an unfamiliar world, perhaps we'll look to Silo as a reminder of what we're capable of achieving. Because humanity has never shied away from the unknown. Our history is a story of exploration, of venturing beyond familiar borders and transforming limitations into new possibilities. If the future leads us underground, if survival means building a life in the shadows, we'll adapt, we'll thrive, we'll create a new definition of home wherever we are. So until our next journey, remember this: the future, whether above ground or below, is a testament to our resilience, our curiosity, our boundless desire to explore. Sometimes the answers we seek lie not in the stars, but beneath our very feet.